Hi everyone. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the programs in the Pinnacle Reading Advantage system. You'll find that Pinnacle is by far the best learning to read program available. And why it's so effective is because of a few good reasons. One, it allows for massive repetition and letter blending. In most weeks, the average Pinnacle student will have practiced 2,500 blends. In your average school classroom in primary grades, they're lucky to have practiced maybe 50 to 100 blends in the entire week. Number three, in Pinnacle, you are layering one mastered skill upon the other. Number four, Pinnacle also acts as an effective diagnostic tool to locate any weaknesses or deficiencies in your students' reading. We also have all the tools to turn those weaknesses into strengths because of our methodology of using high repetition and speed drills. Number five, and finally, are unrivaled strategies to master multi-syllable words. Mastering multi-syllable words is the hallmark of Pinnacle Reading Advantage. That's what we do best. And this is the thing that holds back most students in their reading progress. So not only does Pinnacle make reading excellence inevitable, it does it in a time frame you would never have thought possible. Just a few short months compared to years in the classroom. That's why nothing can compare to Pinnacle Reading Advantage in results or the speed it takes to achieve them. So let's get started with our first program called Letter Sounds Practice. So most students don't learn their letter sounds deeply enough to elicit lightning fast recall that's necessary for letter blending. We've developed this program to make letter sounds second nature. Let's look at the control panel and see how to get some of these results. So you'll notice at the very top, uh, on the first row, you'll see the timer, and the default is set to 3 seconds. In most cases, you're going to start at 2 seconds and work your way down to 1 second. The flash mode, uh, normal, the letter just appears on the screen and stays there in flash mode. It flashes for a moment, and in ultra flash mode, it flashes for 300 milliseconds, so very, very fast. In practice mode, you can practice the long vowel sounds, you can practice the short vowel sounds separately, or you can practice them together in the mixed. If you just want to practice consonants, that's also available. Or if you want to practice all the letter sounds, just hit this button and that'll take you to uh, all the letters mixed together. And letter order, you can go sequential, which is the ABC order, or if you want to mix it up, you can use the random order. Okay, so getting started, we will start at 2 seconds. We'll put it in normal speed. Um, let's just practice all the letters so you get an idea what that looks like. And we won't use ABC order, we'll use random order. And let's get started. So all you do is hit the start practice. And so the idea is you're going to hit the next letter will appear, and you'll have 2 seconds to make the sound of the letter before the audio of the letter, uh, uh, you hear the audio of the letter. So let's do a couple. Nah. Okay, I'll act as a student. I'll pretend I'm a student. O, O, M, Ma, W, W, Oo, Oo, and so on and so forth. Let's go down to 1 second and let's try the flash mode to see so you can see how fast the letters appear. Oh, oh, qua, qua, I, I, A, E, E. Okay, and let's try ultra flash. Again, you don't want any overlap. If your student is getting the letter correct, but there's overlap with the audio, you might want to give them an extra second. and then work their way down once they get better and better. So right now we're on 1 second and we're on ultra flash, so that's as fast as it gets. G. G. See, there was a little bit of overlap on my part. Er. Z. Z. V. V. B. B. Y. Y. Ah. Ah. Okay. So that's how that program works. Work this for as long as you need until the student can get to 1 second in ultra flash and not making any mistakes on the letter sounds and no overlap, and you would have mastered the consonant vowel letter practice. Okay. The next program is the decoding blends charts. However, this is a very large and extremely important program, so I did a separate screencast for that program. So let's skip that for now and go to the consonant blends practice. So consonant blends are letters like CH, GL, SH, DR, WH, those kinds of blends. And those kinds of blends can pose obstacles and challenges when your student confronts them in their reading. This program, along with the decoding blends charts that they'll master before you actually get to this chart, will solve this problem, and consonant blends will no longer be an issue. So let's look at the settings. At the very top, you'll notice that there's a voice, so you can use the drop down and pick whatever voice that you wish to use. They're all in English, but they all have different accents and different ways of saying words. So you'll need to pick the voice that suits you best. Let me pick one right now. Let me pick, I don't know, let's pick Ava. And you can see what she sounds like before you get started.
Hello. This is how words will sound during practice.
Okay. And I've used that drop down, or I created that drop down, because sometimes when you're hearing the words, you can't quite understand what they're saying. So if that happens, you can always go up there and choose a different avatar. Okay. So the timer is set to 4 seconds. Uh, you'll hear the word, and it's the student's job to come up with the consonant blends that starts the actual word. So let's see how that looks.
Group, group.
Okay, I don't know why that, because I don't know where that voice came from. Let's try something. Let's try David. Make sure David's working. Let's try the next word.
choose,
Okay, that's much better.
choose,
You can pause it if you just notice you can pause it and you can hear.
choose,
So choose, I believe that's a CH, so let's see if I'm right.
choose, choose,
Okay, let's go to the next word.
blade,
BL.
blade,
So make sure your student is saying the consonant blends before the actual word full word appears.
play,
Play is PL.
play,
Okay, let's make a
skull,
mistake. Skull. Okay, let's pretend that I didn't know it was SK, and let's say I said it was ST, or you can. There was a mistake. Let's just actually
smoke,
let's go back to the previous.
skull, skull,
Okay, let's say I did make a mistake. At that point, you immediately want to hit this green button at the bottom, and then go find the SK words. And then you'll want to click on the SK, and all the SK words will say
sky,
in
skin,
order.
skip, skill, skate, skull,
Okay, this is really super important, and it really helps cement that particular consonant blend so they won't make a mistake in future words. So let's try a different one.
smoke,
So smoke would be SM,
smoke,
Again, you can adjust this up or down if they're having a hard time getting them. You can adjust it to higher seconds. Right now, I'll leave it on 4 seconds.
skate,
SK.
skate,
Okay, let's make one more mistake here.
snack,
Let's say I said it was SM,
snack,
and we find out it's SN. So we're going to go to the SN words. And again, everything is in alphabetical order. Just go ahead and click on that, and you'll hear the words in order.
snow, snap, snake, snack, sneak, sneeze,
Okay, as you can see, this is a very, very effective way of teaching your student how to recognize these uh, consonant blends. And when they do make mistakes, you can just take them to the word list, and it will really cement that particular sound in their mind's eye. And very, very effective program. And by the way, kids love this program. That's all they want to play. Okay. Okay. Let's go on to the next program. Okay, so we just saw the consonant words. That was the word list. That if the kids missed it, the word list came up and we heard the words in order. The next program is the PRA word workbook. That's also a very large and a very important program that I've done a screencast of. So you'll need to go in and watch that screencast because it's extremely important. So that brings us to the blended phonetic word builder. So, as I mentioned earlier, the hallmark of the Pinnacle Reading Program, Advantage Program, is to teach students how to read multi-syllable words. That's what we're known for. This word builder program creates nonsense words. This is very powerful because students can't use context or guessing. It comes down to pure, precise decoding skills to get the word. So let's look at the control panel and see how this actually works. So you'll notice on the first line here, they have 2-letter blends and 3-letter blends. This is from the decoding blends chart, the 440 blends that they were learned earlier in the process. So so you can choose 2-letter blends or 3-letter blends, or you can choose a mixture of the two. You can decide how many syllables you want to start with, 2 syllables all the way to 5 syllables. Phonetic marks. This shows the marks, the phonetic marks on top of each and every vowel sound. You can have that on or you can hide the marks. We'll have it on for right now. The vowel types, you can choose nonsense words that just have short vowels or long vowels or a mixture of the two. Or you can have vowel combinations. That's also an option. Or you can mix all of them together. For right now, let's just start with the short vowel sounds. We'll mix up the 2 and 3-letter blends. We'll start with 2-letter, 2 syllables for the word, and above each and every vowel is going to be a phonetic mark. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so this is interesting. By the way, it shows you the blends being used for the 2 syllables, the TW and the Z sound. The short vowels are short A and short E. And so the student would look at this and they would say, it's twaza, twaza. But when you listen to the word, the the language engines that read words, they're going to read it just like we read words. Okay, as adults, as experienced readers, that's how they're going to read it. So the way they're going to read it is going to be tways. I'm sure it's going to be tways.
tways,
Okay, so just to make sure that's clear, the way they would read that would be Marslow. Marslow. Remember, O at the end of words is almost always long. But if you put the vowel sounds on it, now it becomes Marsla. but you can hear what the
Marslow,
avatar says. Marslow.
Marslow,
Let's do another word. We would read it as Flasco,
Flasco,
but the student's job is to read each and every vowel sound according to the phonetic symbol on top of each vowel sound. So this would be Vlaskow, Vlaska.
Flasco,
Okay, let's do one more. And so the blend types is a P and a PH. So this would be Piffa, Piffa. I'm not sure how it's going to sound.
Piff,
Piff.
Piff,
Okay. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's do vowel combinations. Well, let's mix them all up. Vowel combinations plus short and long sounds. We'll keep the blend type at 2 letter and 3 letter. We'll keep it mixed up, and let's go with 3 syllables. And let's start out with no phonetic marks on top of the word and see what kind of words we can get. And the blends used is P, C, and CR. And the word would be Pede Kakre. Pete Kakra.
Pied Cocker, Pied Cocker,
So the language engine also has a hard time reading these words, but it's an exercise. So you just do the best you can. If I put okay, Pied Kakra, Pied Kakra, Sergule, Sergule. I'm sure the avatar is going to say Sergula.
Sergula,
Nosglunfright. Nosglunfright. I think the avatar is going to say Nosglunfright.
Nisglunfried, Nisglunfried,
Okay, let's just do one more. Sking Joan Crow. Sking Joe Craw.
Sing John Crow,
Okay. Okay, so you get the idea. And also, it generates a list of the words that you've already attempted.
Sing John Crow, Nisglunfried, Sergula,
Okay, the idea is for to break through the multi-syllable word barrier. We have lots of different strategies. This is just one of the strategies. It just happens to be extremely powerful because once they can do these nonsense words, when they go back into the word workbook and see a 3 syllable word, just becomes so much easier. Now, here's a pro tip for you. If you want to, you can go back into the home page and just change the language. So let me go back into the home page, and we have a translate that translates into several different languages. Find a language that uses English letters, but their obviously their words are completely different than what we're used to. So let's see if sometimes you can find English letters. Okay, so you can find out. Well, this has lots of different. Let's try a different. Has lots of different asterisks and everything on top of. Let's see here. Okay, that's still kind of a lot of different syllables. Nope. I can use Spanish. Well, some of you speak Spanish, so that's not a problem. Let's try one other language here. Let's try one other language. Okay, so you can try a word like right here, glide, na, dulcino, oblad ovance, catire, coli. The idea is you'll have an unlimited number of words that you can practice that essentially are nonsense words to us because we don't understand the language. But for your student, it's just really great practice. Here's a four-syllable word, five-syllable word. Interac, interactivne, interactivny, programov, razdeli, and so on and so forth. So you'll have just an unlimited, and go back and hit the American flag so you can get back to English. Uh, you'll have an unlimited number of words to practice your nonsense word drills. Okay, and so that is the blended phonetic word builder. So that brings us to the spelling challenge program. The spelling challenge helps students picture words and sounds in their mind's eye. Once they are spelling words accurately just based on hearing the word, you know they're well on their way of creating a phonetic neural network in their mind when the visual and the audio start to blend together. So again, as you can see from the control panel, I have also included a voice drop down just so you hear the word clearly. Sometimes you hear the word and it doesn't sound quite right. You can go back up and pick a different language. The last time David was, let's try Brian this time.
Hello. This is how words will sound during the spelling challenge.
Okay, so once we picked our voice, we're going to pick the syllable count. Let's start with one syllable words. Okay, and so the students at their keyboard, they're going to hear the word by hitting the start challenge, and I'll show you what that looks like.
Man,
Okay, I don't know where that came from. I keep on getting Anna. Let's try David again.
Mound.
I think he said mound, but that still wasn't a clear. Let's try Emma.
Mound.
Mound. Now I heard that clearly. Mound. Okay, so M-O-U. I'm going to put L-O-N-E, and hopefully I'm right. So lone. Oh, well, I wanted to show you five in a row. Let me just show you. Let's go back up here and try two syllable words.
Classroom.
Classroom. So I heard that clearly. Spell check. Let's do one more here.
feeling,
Feeling.
meeting,
I didn't hear that quite right.
Meeting.
Meeting. His father went to a meeting. So let's see what that looks like. So five rows, five in a row. So mender, you have to, I guess, the person that mends things, I guess. Okay. Anyway, that's how that works, and it gives you the five words that you got correct, and that's how the spelling challenge works. A lot of fun. Kids love it, and it really makes them into great spellers, which in turn makes them into great readers. Which brings us to the next program called the PRA Sentence Workbook. And since we have completed, the students have completed the decoding blends charts and the PRA workbook, which are two really super important parts of the puzzle. By the time they get to the PRA sentence workbook, they would have learned how to read words from 1 to 5 syllables. So their reading skills are already very well established. But now we're going to be reading actual sentences. So we go from single words, now we're at sentences. And all these sentences are 1 syllable word sentences. You can go to one and two syllable word sentences, and so on. 1 through 3, 1 through 4. And when you get to the sentences, let's go back to one syllable sentences. All these words and all these sentences are just one syllable words. So, and it's interesting because uh, kids come into, or students come into this program knowing how to read 4 and 5 syllable words, 6 syllable words in some cases, very easily. And then they come into this program, you're thinking, oh, well, they're just going to do fantastic. But comes to turn out, as it turns out, that reading words and sentences is a different skill set than reading even really difficult 5 syllable words. So the fact that they're at that level where they can read these multi-syllable words, reading sentences like this becomes a skill that they quickly learn and quickly master. So you can listen to the sentence,
A cat was on the bed.
or if you need a little extra help, you can have phonetic sounds on top of each and every vowel sound, and that's helpful too if you need that. That's also helpful. You can hide it. Let's do another one.
Bill was stung by a bee.
Bill was stung by a bee. Okay. I've also included the vowel combination chart. So if they're having issues with vowel combinations or even common suffixes, you would have also seen this in the word workbook. Of course, that's a different screencast that you definitely need to watch because it's a very important program. But the vowel combination chart, if for instance, boy, they're just not getting the AW sound, just click on the AW.
Straw. Draw. Raw. Craw. Flaw.
And it'll give you the list of words in order and what they sound like. Or they're just not getting the ing words.
Sing. Thing. King. Bring. Ring. Cling.
So anytime you see a vowel combination they're not quite getting right,
Light. Might. Sight. Slight. Bright.
immediately click on that chart and they'll see the list of words and it will cement those sounds in their head. And over one or two misses, they start to get it. They really start to pick up on it. Okay, so that's 1 syllable words. Let's look at 2 syllable words just to give you an idea. So,
The lady put powder on her face.
and these words are not only have the phonetic sounds on top of each vowel, but now each of the multisyllable words are separated. So you can see that too.
The lady put powder on her face. The boy and his parents went to church on Sunday.
Okay. So that's 1 and 2 syllable. Like I said, it goes all the way up to 4 syllable words.
The basketball player received an intentional foul.
Okay, so it separates the words into syllables if they need that extra help, and also the phonetic sounds on top of each syllable. Okay, so very straightforward. Really nothing to get confused about. Um, Work the system, work from 1 syllable all the way up to 1 to 4 syllables, and at that point they should be able to read most books that you put in front of them. Okay. Okay, so it brings us to our next program called the Interactive Wall program, Word Wall program. Okay, so this program is great for classroom teachers or anyone with a really large smart screen in their classroom. Most teachers have word walls on their classroom walls that just collect dust. This program changes all that. Let me show you some of the great features and why teachers absolutely love this program. First of all, it's preloaded with 102 common sight words. So you can click that list and it will populate the grid below, which is fantastic. Now, in your classroom, you're noticing that the words are kind of small. You can go up to the global text size and increase the size of all the words together. And I will do that to show you what that looks like. Go down the list, make sure everything is still inside the border, or if you need to decrease the size. Or you can even go to a specific word. When you click the word, it says it out loud. You hear the audio.
they,
You also can right click and get a dictionary definition of the word, which is very helpful for vocabulary. Okay, to increase their vocabulary. Really cool feature. But also,
they,
when you click that word, this text size um, prompt comes up, and you can increase the size of that particular word, or decrease the size, or reset it, which is really small. You don't want to do that. Try to get it the size of the other words. And so that's really a great feature too. So you have the audio,
is,
you have the dictionary, and you have the text size feature. Okay? Now, um, if you want to, this is also a great feature. If you would like to create your own list, um, you're also able to create your own list and keep them in the load list box. So let's just for let's just call it cat. Just make it everything easy. Now you want to make a list, and you can copy and paste. You can use this smart import. All you need to do is go to any page on your computer, copy and paste, copy it, and then come back and open this green button, and you can paste it inside the smart import. For this case, I'm just going to copy and paste this paragraph down here. There's these few sentences down here. I'm going to copy that, and you'll notice that there's a lots of non-word items. That's okay because in the smart import feature, it takes out all those commas and periods and all the rest of the stuff. And so you want to import the words and then hit done, and that creates the list. And you'll notice that a lot of these words are too big for their particular box, so you want to go in and decrease the size. So in some cases you have to make a few
automatical, why,
and decrease the size. Okay. And add the L. Okay. And then maybe you can increase the size just a little bit. You don't want to go outside the border. But anyway, you just made yourself a list. You can just copy and paste any page from any part of your computer, come back, open up the smart import, paste it in there, and you are good to go. You are good to go. It creates a list for you. So let's see our drop down. Oh, so we need to save and refresh, and that's going to give us our two lists, our common sight words that the program comes preloaded with, and now we have our cat list. So let's hit our cat. That comes up, or we can hit the common sight words, and that comes up. So either or, so very easy to create word lists. And another really cool feature is that if you only have a few words, you don't have 102 words, so you just want to use maybe 3 columns. So hit the 3 columns, and now you can fit your words just on 3 columns because you didn't need all those boxes. And again, you can use the global text size to increase the size of all of them for visibility for the kids in the back of the room. right? And then you can, if you need to, you can go to 4 columns or back to 6 columns. It's entirely up to you. So that's another really cool feature. Okay, so let's clear that. Okay, and let's repopulate. Okay, cat. Okay, there's our 102 words. Now, one of the best features of this whole entire program is that you're trying to teach your class all 102 sight words. So you can either pick a column, which is quite a few words, and that's fine for some classrooms, but in other classrooms, it might be easier to go across the rows if there's only 6 words across the row. You want to take it nice and easy. So once you select that row, you can go down to the practice module, and those 6 words are populated into the
the,
practice module. And once the word flashes or on the screen, the students will have 4 seconds to say the word before the audio of the word automatically comes up. So let's do a couple. Let's do just 3 seconds. Okay. We'll hit the next word. A,
a,
and,
and,
and if they're too fast for that, knock it down a second. Two,
two,
and this is what it looks like at 1 second. Said,
said,
you.
you,
And once you go to the end, just go previous. Said,
said,
two.
two,
Okay. Now, once they are doing great, they're not making any mistakes at 1 second, you want to put them on flash mode. This way they'll see the word for only a few milliseconds, and then and then they'll hear the audio. Sorry about that. They'll still have 1 second to get the word, but it will only flash for a millisecond.
and,
A,
a,
the,
the,
a,
a,
and,
and,
two.
two,
And this is ultra flash. Said,
said,
you.
you,
Okay, so that's a really cool feature, and it will help the students learn all the words on the word list. And let's select all the words here so everything shows up. So when you're teaching your vocabulary and you're teaching sight words and you're teaching word wall words, you can create lists. You can use our lists that are preloaded. This will really increase the vocabulary in your classroom, especially with the practice feature. So go ahead and use that. Like I said, teachers love it, and you'll love it too. Okay, so this brings us to our two math charts, our interactive addition chart and our interactive multiplication chart. They're both identical in appearance. You click on
6,
each any problem.
10, 12, 15, 15, 10,
Okay, it's interesting because all the classrooms that I visit in our school district, I'm in California, um, it's amazing that there's two things that strike me. First of all, none of the kids can read at grade level. None of them can read at grade level. And none of them know their math facts. I mean, something very odd is happening in our school. If they can't read at grade level and they don't know their math facts, isn't that why they're going to school in the first place? To learn how to read? Anyway, you don't have to worry about that. Pinnacle Reading Advantage takes care of all that, so you don't have to worry about what the school curriculum is doing or not doing. because now you can override all that with the programs that we have on Pinnacle Reading Advantage. Okay, so just like all the other programs, these are meant to be practiced in the practice module. So let's say for instance, most kids know their ones. Most of them do, not all of them. Most kids know their ones. Let's start with the two. So select the two column, and that's going to populate all the two facts, all the two problems into the
7,
practice module. You can decide how fast you want your students to react to each one. 3.
3,
Currently, I have them at 2 seconds random mode. 8.
8,
4.
4,
So when they start getting really proficient, and they're all ready, and they're made it all the way down to 1 second, you can also hit the flash mode, which will show the problem in just a millisecond. 5.
5,
They still have a second to get the problem, but as you can see, it just flashes. 6.
6,
This was ultra flash. 9.
9,
Okay. If you want to select more than one column, you can use this feature called multi-select, and that's mostly for mobile phones that don't have the shift key. Otherwise, you can just hit the shift key. Let me go up here. Hit the shift key and you can select multiple columns or unselect them. Entirely up to you. Okay? Or if you want to pick rows. The same thing on this grid, it goes up to 1 to 10. So, and then unselect, and you can turn that off. But that's how you learn these addition charts and multiplication charts. I'll show you the multiplication chart. It looks like exactly the same.
24, 40,
So make sure you're putting in the time and you learn your math facts. In my fourth grade class, I did an assessment at the beginning of the year to find out who knew their facts. Of course, nobody did. And so we took the first several weeks to learn their facts. And we probably got about 50% more work done in the math class than we would have if we didn't memorize our facts. So super, super important. Learn your math facts. There's no substitute for it. You have to do it. Okay, good luck. You can do it. Just hang in there, show up every day, try hard, and you'll get it done. Okay, last but not least is the Pinnacle Reading Advantage Challenge. Okay, it'll track your progress towards reading mastery with clear, achievable goals. Okay, there's a total of 24 goals in the challenge. The first level is the two-letter chart, which is in the decoding blends chart. The three-letter chart, that's also in the decoding blends chart program. And you'll notice as you come down, there's actually 7 goals to be achieved in the two-letter chart and 7 goals to be achieved in the three-letter chart. So 14 goals right there in one program. That's how important the decoding blends chart is. The heart and soul of this entire uh, program. You have to learn these 2 charts. Once you do, you'll see your reading skills. The trajectory will just be straight up. It'll be like a rocket ship. You have to learn those 2 charts. After that, the word workbook. That's the other one that I made a separate screencast for. And there's 4 goals in there. 1-syllable words, 2-syllable words, 3, 4, 5-syllable words. Likewise, the sentence workbook that we did look at today. 1-syllable words, 2-syllable words, 3-syllable words, and 1 to 4-syllable words. So those are very achievable. And the very last one is the word wall sight words ultimate challenge. Okay, you're going to have to learn all 102 sight words and create your own winning system. You know, you can go across the rows and work your way down. You can go down the columns and work your way across. It's entirely up to you, but you're going to need to do that to complete this challenge. So, like I said, this ties everything together. It keeps everybody, all the students, very motivated. They're very excited to achieve each goal. So once they mark the first one, they can go up there and can see their progress bar. One goal completed, 4% overall progress. They do another one. Now the progress bar is even further across. Two goals completed, 8% overall completion. So this keeps them very motivated, keeps their mind in the game, wanting to continue to achieve higher and higher goals and going up the ladder until they complete all 24 goals. So the Pinnacle Reading Advantage is the program that kind of keeps everything together and keeps all the motivation super high. So I hoped you learned a little bit from all these programs. It's a fantastic system. It's the best system out there to teach a person how to read. Again, the hallmark of our system is multi-syllable word mastery, along with everything else that gets them there. You'll love the program. You'll love how it flows. You'll love how motivated your students are to achieve each goal. And just hang in there, show up every day, put in good effort, and before you know it, you'll have all the 24 goals achieved, and your student will be a phenomenal reader, way past your expectations. They'll exceed your expectations by a long ways. So hang in there. Good luck, take care, and good luck with the system.